Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are you all doing this morning? We'd like to get started, and these chairs are not reserved, so if some of our more mature individuals would like to sit down, or anyone that would like to sit down, please come and sit in the chairs for us so we can get started. And if everyone could kind of come and move this way. Come on, family. Y'all can sit down. Yes. And the lady here with the cane, you may want to sit down. Can everyone hear me okay? All right, wonderful. Well, good morning again. We're going to get started, and I'd just like to say we're here because of the dedication to Cynthia Graham Hurd. This is the mural, and we're here to dedicate this mural. What a wonderful mural. And we're going to get started by having Miss Celeste Larrabell come and grace us with a song. Just want you to know that everything that's being done here is something that, all the things that Cynthia would have wanted. These are her friends, her colleagues, and so this is a special day for everyone. Miss Celeste Larrabell.
There's a sweet, sweet spirit in this place, and I know that it's the presence of the Lord. There's a sweet expression on each face, and I know they feel the presence of the Lord. Sweet Holy Spirit, sweet heavenly dove, stay right here with us, filling us with your love. And for these blessings we will lift our hearts in praise, and without a doubt we'll know that we have been revived when we shall leave this place. Sweet Holy Spirit, sweet heavenly dove, oh, stay right here with us, oh, filling us with your love. And for these blessings we will lift our hearts in praise, and without a doubt we'll know that we have been revived, and without a doubt we'll know that we have been revived, and without a doubt we'll know that we have been revived when we shall leave this place, this place.
Beautiful. Let's give her another round of applause. as I said, we are here to dedicate this wonderful mural. And this mural depicts all of the books that we love to read and that Cynthia loved to read. And so, as I said earlier, all the people that are on the program, they are her friends, they're her colleagues, and they're very special to her. And this is what Cynthia would have wanted. After talking with Kim, she and I were talking about it, and she said, you know, this is what Cynthia would have wanted. So everything is focused on what Cynthia would have wanted for this wonderful day. So next, we're going to have a reading of dedication by Miss Janet Siegel. Janet?
Thank you, Celeste, and thank you, Tammy. I am Janet Siegel. I am the chairman of the Board of Trustees for the library, and on behalf of the board, I wish you all a very warm welcome today. I'm not going to take up a lot of time. I just want to say that this whole project has been so astonishing from the beginning, and thank you to Enough Pie and to Nick and to all the people who made this happen. For those of you who are in the way back and can't see what it says in loving memory of Cynthia Graham Hurd. And this is something all of us, all of our children will be able to enjoy for years to come. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Janet. Now, we'd like everyone to move quickly inside because we know it's hot out here, but we're going to be inside now, and the rest of the program will continue on the inside. So come on, let's go. Welcome again. I kept saying Cynthia's friends and colleagues, but most importantly, Cynthia was about family, and her family is here. And I do want to say I'm glad, thank you for letting me be a part of this, and our hearts and minds are with you and our prayers. And so we're glad that you're here with us. Okay. And Kim is going to acknowledge you and have you stand at that time. All right. Thank you all. Again, welcome. This is a wonderful occasion. We need you all to be smiling. It's time to laugh, happy, because Cynthia was about books, learning, and I love to read. She was my sorority sister, my friend, and so we want you just to enjoy this occasion. And so now I'm going to bring up our own Kim Odom, who's the manager and of this wonderful library, the Dart Library, and she's going to welcome all of you in her own very special way.
Breathe. Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to first shout out this wonderful group of children right here. Good morning. These children came over from the Marion Strobel Community Center, and thanks to them, you all have a seat this morning. So thank you for sharing your seats with us. It is my greatest pleasure, honor, to welcome you all, and welcome most of you back, but welcome some of you for the first time, to the historic John L. Dart Branch Library. I stand before you as the 6th librarian in the near 90-year history of the John L. Dart. Cynthia was the 5th. So I've learned from the best. I thank you so very much for joining with us in this celebration. But I can't overlook that we are having this celebration for almost all the wrong reasons. The song Lift Every Voice and Sing has been on my mind all week. I've been journeying on a civil rights tour through Georgia and Alabama and Mississippi and Tennessee. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. So while I reflect on that, I also know, man, what I know. what I know for sure is today is a good day. So I welcome you on this first day of summer to the historic John L. Dart Library for this momentous occasion. And I thank you all for coming. I will ask you, though, if you have your cell phones with you, to please place them on vibrate or silent. If you're going to post to social media, we are the John L. Dart Branch Library. If you're going to take a picture out front by the mural, it's a Dart shelfie, not a Dart selfie. So use that hashtag for us. We thank you so very, very much for coming. I'm not here alone. There are other Dart staff members here. We got Ty Williams behind the desk and Abby Adams over here with her summer reading medals on. Kids, summer reading. It's time for summer reading, okay? All right. So if you need anything, please let us know. Y'all are home, okay? Y'all can take your shoes off, all right? All right, we already had a song. All we need now is some food or something, you know? All right, we really want you to feel welcome. Should you need to use the restroom facilities, they are to my left. The key for your convenience is in the door. Please remember to take the key in and bring the key out, okay? Thank you for coming. And I said I learned from the best. At this time, we would like the family members of Cynthia Graham Hurd to please stand. And I see that Steve's sister is here as well. So if you will all please stand, we honor you and thank you for coming today.
You know, it's a lot of housekeeping. You want to make sure you have everything in order because, of course, as a librarian, everything has to be in order. Is that correct, children? In order. All right, next, we're going to have a cultural remembrance by Dr. O. Now, there's a story behind this that Kim told me. Cynthia and Kim have a Middle Passage book, and it's a coffee table book. And of course, you know, Kim shared with me, of course, it's, how much, Kim? $75. But it's one of those wonderful books. And Cynthia just loved her history. And she just, you know, appreciated who she was as an African American, as a person of Gullah descent. And so Dr. O is going to come up and he's going to give us this cultural remembrance. Thank you.
Good morning. I don't know exactly what a cultural remembrance is, but I do remember Cynthia. And in the 80s, when I moved to Charleston, back to Charleston from New York in 1985. And Cynthia, along with some friends that are also in the audience, they welcomed me back to Charleston. And those were the days when Moja Arts Festival was just an idea, and John is here. John, remember when Moja was just an idea? And we were working together to make Moja real for the community, to bring cultural enrichment to the Charleston community, to bring art to the community in a way that black folk was able to appreciate the arts and to participate in the arts. Cynthia was a part of that, along with some others that are in the audience. That was 31 years ago. We laugh at that. And 31 years ago, I don't know if Cynthia was a librarian. Was she? Yeah, okay. But I know that we were a group of younger people. We were school teachers and just doing some dynamic things in the community. And I shared this story with Cynthia, and some of you have heard this story about my love of librarians and why I love librarians. I was a restless kid, I'll put it that way. And my teacher assigned me to the library as a punishment. And the librarian happened to have been a black woman. I was in New York in a largely all-white school, and the librarian happened to have been a black woman named Miss Rutledge, who was from South Carolina. And when I walked in the library, I greeted her, and I had just been in New York 1 year, and so I still had my geech going on. So she recognized my geech, and she said she was going to take care of me. And she did. She taught me the Dewey system. I still remember the, anybody remember the Dewey? I still remember the Dewey. She taught me how to write, how to do cursor. I mean, and she taught me how to pay attention to books. I fell in love with books through that experience. And the thing that we in our little group that I found when I came to Charleston all had in common was that we loved books. Cynthia, most of all, loved books. And we loved black people. And we really, really, really loved being Gullah. That was before it was popular. It's popular now. Everybody loves being Gullah, even those who aren't Gullah. So, children, I want you to pay special attention to this day, because one day, God bless you, you perhaps will be the age of some of the people in the audience, and even perhaps my age, and this will be a memory for you. I want you to hold on to this memory. I want you to look in this room and around this room and see these faces, because you'll need to remember these faces, because these faces represent a story. And it's going to be you who will have to tell those stories in that time. So, again, I thank all of you for coming here today to remember our beloved sister, Cynthia. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. O. When you talked about the stories about the library, I have a story as well. And that's why I love the library. I got kicked out of school for 3 days. And of course, thinking back then, you think you're going to stay in the bed. Well, no, not my mother. She said, you're going to go to the library. She woke me up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was at the library, and one of the libraries, she's here, and she knows who it is. And my mother dared me, if you walk outside the door, the main library, if you walk outside the door, I'm going to know you walked out. And I remember peeping my head out, and she said, what did you do? I said, nothing. She said, you did go outside. I said, no, I didn't. But I know who told her, and she's sitting right back there. So we all have these wonderful stories. So I'm just telling you kids, the library is the place to be. It's the happening place to be. All right, we're moving right along. We're going to have a reading. Now, this young man, he's a published poet and author. He lives downtown. I'm moving ahead. We have our remarks. Longtime colleague and friend. She's also a Charlestonian, and she and Cynthia had a very special relationship. And I'm going to introduce you now to Ms. Deborah Harris, who's the manager of the Otranto Road Regional Library. Come on up, Ms. Deborah.
Good morning, everyone. As a longtime colleague, my fond memories of Cynthia Graham Hurd dates back well before her 4 years as manager at the St. Andrews Regional Library, or even the 20-plus years that she spent here at the John L. Dart Library, or the time spent at the main library in that pink building that was on King Street. Cynthia began working for the Charleston County Public Library in an entry-level position at the Cooper River Memorial Library on Rivers Avenue in the mid-1980s. In fact, it was 1984, to be exact, where I was the branch manager. She graduated 2 years prior from Clark Atlanta University with a mathematics degree. She was bright, energetic, creative, serious-minded, and fun-loving all in one. She was definitely quite a people person with a winning smile and engaging conversation for all patrons of all ages and her co-workers. She was helpful, patient, kind, and encouraging. Literacy and self-improvement were always important to her. Cynthia's experiences at Cooper River taught her fundamental library tasks such as checking in, checking out materials, providing reference services, creating and implementing programs, including story time for the little ones. Yes, and building maintenance if needed. Cynthia literally soaked it all up, not realizing she was on her way to a beloved profession and a world for the curious, discovering, learning, teaching, and nurturing. She eventually enrolled in library school at the University of South Carolina and earned her master's in library science degree. Her early experiences shaped her ambition. They were actually her preparation for becoming the manager at the historically significant John L. Dot branch. If you know the history of this branch, you will know that Cynthia Graham Hurd stood proudly on the shoulders of previous outstanding managers such as Susan Dart Butler, May Holloway Purcell, and Rebecca Manigault Stepney. They, like Cynthia, were each librarians for more than 20 years. I mention these ladies because they are all a part of Cynthia's legacy. I must say she was in good company. Cynthia's promotion to manager at the St. Andrews Regional was a great opportunity for her to spread her wings and share her knowledge and skills in the second busiest facility in this library system. Cynthia and I remained connected throughout her entire career, often engaging in conversation regarding library policies and procedures, issues associated with day-to-day supervision and operating a regional-sized facility, and sometimes just plain stress-relieving chats. Cynthia will be remembered for many things. Included on that list will be she loved to laugh, quite a sense of humor, and she knew how to have fun. I could share lots of stories, but I'm going to keep it simple. She reached back to help others to grow in the profession, and in her own words, loved helping people to find answers. That's the world of a true library manager. She enjoyed a good discussion about authors, current events, library trends and services. A group of 5 managers had what would become our last discussion with our colleague over lunch on June 17, 2015. So glad we were able to share that precious time with her and what was actually a marathon scheduling day of meetings and trainings. We are all heartbroken over the loss of our colleague and the other 8 victors, yes, victors, because they are now all sitting on the right hand of our Father. We are grateful for having Cynthia cross our paths, and she has left us with a blueprint, message for life, faith, family, and friends. The colors of the mural are bright and vibrant, just as the spirit and personality of our friend and colleague. It is a fitting tribute in memory of Cynthia and what she meant to this community as a champion for literacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Deborah. And now we're going to have a reading by Mr. Marcus Amaker. Now, he is here because his specificity is to literacy, specific nod to literacy. And he's a published poet and author, and he's from the downtown area, so he is a Charlestonian. All right, Mr. Marcus. Mr. Marcus Amaker.
All right, can I get everybody in here to say love? Love. Louder, say love. Love. It's beautiful. Yes, I live very close to here, probably 2 blocks away, walked here, and it feels good to be in this space and support this space, and I encourage everyone to do the same. I'm going to read 2 poems for you. One was written probably a month after what happened last year, and another one that I was asked to write with Marjorie Wentworth for the mayor. This is called Circadian Rhythms. At ground zero of death, the voice of God will sound like an alarm clock, waking you up from a dream. You open your eyes and see yourself not as a woman or a man, but as a spirit who had been breathing in an illusion. On June 18th, the voice of God sounded like an alarm clock and woke us up from a nightmare. It was the day after a massacre when illusion became reality, when darkness was a dagger in our hearts. From this day forward, the voice of God sounds like an alarm clock, waking us up from a dream. Our eyes are now open to the restlessness of our souls as we confront the relentlessness of racism. I will not rest until we can sleep peacefully again. Thank you. And this is a poem I was asked to write by Mayor Tecklenburg for his inauguration. And it was interesting. I was asked to write it with Marjorie Wentworth, and we were both saying, if we have this platform, we have to speak some truth. It can't just be like roses are red, we can't do that. So this is called Reimagining History. Though Charleston is a shrine to the past, where every alleyway and weather-worn road tells the story of a city resurrected, time is never standing still. Running beneath the surface are fault lines of our own making, reshaping memory brick by brick. Hours crumble in the soil of Hampton Park, where horses ran laps for sport and Union soldiers were laid to rest, honored as martyrs of the race course. Now, a statue of Denmark Vesey stands in this place named for a Confederate general as flowers bloom among the ruins. This year, we've done laps around despair, and we've grown tired of running in circles, so we stepped off the track and began to walk. As the earth shifted beneath our feet, we move forward together. Our hearts unhinged guide us toward a city remade by love into a future that our past could have never imagined, beginning today. Thank you.
What powerful words. Thank you so much, Marcus. Children, I hope you are remembering these, because I hope that you're writing poems as well. All right. Now we're going to have a little talk about the art and the artist, and that's Miss Catherine Zomer. She's the executive director of Enough Pie.
Thank you. Yes, and if you are interested in writing poetry, please join us here tomorrow at 11. Peanut, our Low Country poet, will be here. So you're all welcome to come and do some poetry writing at 11 tomorrow. But thank you so much, and thank you to the Charleston County Public Library, to DART, and to Kim Odom, who has so valiantly led this effort. Art has an incredible ability to express our emotions and our grief, to help connect us and to give shape to our hopes and our dreams. Storytelling was Cynthia Graham Hurd's passion, the library, her joyful realm. I never had the honor to meet her personally, but when Enough Pie was brought into this creative process, I began to meet her through the stories from her protege and dear friend Kim and others at the library, who gave me a richer sense of an incredible woman, a book lover, a children's advocate, an avid gardener, a steadfast friend, a faithful follower of Christ, and an advocate for kindness for all. The woman I've met in these stories shaped her friends and family for sure, but she also shaped this community. Cynthia Graham Hurd shaped Charleston. Her bright light lives in so many of the lives she touched. And now we honor her commitment to her community in the Dart Mural, this colorful invitation to explore the world of stories and storytelling, where we are invited to bring our curiosity into a shared community space, all within the now colorful walls of this neighborhood library. The process of creating this mural was collaborative and unforgettable. The artist, Nick Kuszyk, is a children's book author of Our Robots Saves Lunch, and an international artist with family ties here in Charleston. Based in New York, Nick spent a week painting the Dart Library mural with help from local school kids, neighbors, and library regulars. And I'd like to give a special call out here to Michael Bunkin. Are you here, Michael? Big hand for Michael, who really became an apprentice to Nick during that week and helped shape the mural. And you can see his role in the pictures by the window, so I encourage you to check those out. Everyone participated in the creation of this mural. Even Kim and Cynthia Bledsoe picked up a paintbrush and got in on the action. During the week of this installation, Enough Pie also hosted a painting session here in the library to create the Dart Cart book carts in Nick's signature colorful geometric style, which you'll see also placed throughout the library. It really and truly was a community collaboration, a time for us to gather, to share stories, to create, and to revel in the legacy of an incredible community advocate. It was a true honor for Enough Pie to be the library's creative partner to make this idea a reality. We are a better organization because of collaborations just like this. On behalf of the artist, Nick Kuszyk, and Enough Pie, thank you so much for letting us have an artful part in honoring the life of such a bright light. Our community is forever blessed by Cynthia Graham Hurd. Thank you.
Right now, I just want to take some time. What you said, Deborah, about Cynthia, faith, friends, and family. So if you are part of her faith, Mother Emmanuel, if you are her friend, and of course her family, would you all just stand? Everybody, everybody. And so now let's take this time to give Cynthia a big round of applause. Okay, thank you. And I just took, while I was sitting there, I was thinking about Cynthia. C for cheerful, Y for her youthful spirit, N because she was a networker. Now you all know that. T because she is a treasure. H because she had hope for them. I because she was an intellect. And A because she was an advocate for all of us. And that just came to me while I was sitting there. So Cynthia, I know you hear us. And now we're going to have a legislative resolution that will be presented to the library from the library board chair and the Dart branch staff. Kim.
I would like to ask the other Dart staff members to please come forward, and our board chair, Siegel. In the beginning, I should have asked. I tell you, I know I was trained by the best. I'm going to call it a senior moment. I'm going to just take that. We do have board members present from the library board. If you're here, please be acknowledged. Or if you're here from City Council, Brittany from Friends of the library. Okay. Our deputy director, yes. Where's Darlene, too? Darlene, our acting deputy director and our acting director, Cynthia Bledsoe, county council, state representatives. Wow. Yeah, didn't I tell you I wasn't alone? We're not alone. Come on, Brittany. Pastor Thomas Dixon, I see you over there too. And so, another good friend of Cynthia is Kim Green. Another networker and advocate. Allowed us to make some important connections to Representative Gilliard. And so we welcome him to the podium at this time. We welcome him to the podium at this time.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor and privilege to be here today, and especially to see so many of our young men and women. I think it says a lot about the woman herself and her job description, her love for people, and the many years she spent in her profession. Now, I was standing in the back over there, and I told my friend, I said, look, I need to borrow your glasses because I was feeling in my pocket, and I was knowing I was going to come up, and I pulled these out. Something not right about this picture. But nevertheless, I know I have to, go through with this because this is so important. Ladies and gentlemen, and if you allow me just a minute to get this out, because I know politicians, we like to be long-winded. I'm not about that. That's the difference between a politician and a public servant. And I consider myself a humble public servant. Thank you. This time of year here is near and dear to me, and I tend to get to myself in solitude. And I'll tell you why. Because June 17th, 1991 will live in infamy with this soul. Because a lot of you don't know, June 17th, 1991, we had the explosion at Albright and Wilson. And then, years later, the firemen. The month of June, the number 9. And here we are with the Mother Emmanuel incident, the month of June, the number 9. Now, I say that to say this. Sometimes we just don't know what people have been through in life and why people act the way they do. But when you could step in a library and talk about Ms. Hurd, it should be a privilege and an honor. Because if I had one description to put on her profession, it would be elevation of the mind. Because when you walk into a library, you are actually elevating your mind. Whether it's in the area of economics, social justice, things along that line that are near and dear to this world, it's important that we elevate our mind. Knowing the years that she had spent here, guiding young children into the future. Her job description also could be seen as a pilot, because when you come into a library, you have to first come in with a ticket, and that ticket is a membership card. It's just like you would enter an airport. You would have to buy a ticket. And then as you read the books, knowing that you are about to enter a world unknown, and knowing that pilot is people like Miss Hurd, that's something to behold. Elevation of the mind. Now, I'm not going to get into it too long because somebody might go in the back there and find out I borrowed a book 29 years ago and never brought it back. So I'll cut that short. And I'll leave you with this before I do the presentation. The late Dr. King left us with a fantastic quote that would foot this young lady, this beautiful soul. One of his many quotes, and this is one of my favorite, and it's stated here. He was quoted as saying, "When evil men plot, good men must plan. When evil men burn and bomb, good men must build and bind. When evil men shout ugly words of hatred, good men must commit themselves to the glories of love. Where evil men would seek to perpetuate an unjust status quo, good men must seek to bring into being a real order of justice." When you look at the words justice, bind, build, well, that's her description while she passed through this earth. And for that, we all ought to be grateful. It is my honor and privilege, on behalf of the Speaker of the House, Mr. J.D. Lucas, and also it's signed by the Governor of South Carolina, Ms. Nikki Haley. Ladies and gentlemen, I would present this state resolution recognizing the great works of Ms. Hurd. So I would ask everybody to stand. And I see Ms. Where are you at, Ms. Siegel? I think you're supposed to accept this. And the family members, well, I'll tell you what, the family members, you can stay where you're at for now. What I would like to do, because I was told to present this to Ms. Siegel, because this will be posted in the library. Am I correct? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, a resolution is something that's recognized in the state of South Carolina of any citizens or groups that have gone above and beyond the call of duty. And I think it's an honor that we pause. And now this will be entered in the state journals, henceforth and forevermore in the state of South Carolina. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give everybody and the family members a big round of applause for this resolution. Thank you. Now, how many family members we have here? Could y'all come stand up right around here, please, if you don't mind? Because this is where it's most deserving. And I'm glad to know that I know a lot of family members of this great woman. And I'll ask one member from the family just to come up and say a few things on behalf of the state.
Representative, the family and the friends of Cynthia Graham Hurd takes this opportunity to thank you and the members of the General Assembly and the Governor for bestowing this honor on behalf of our sister and our friend. We stand in a place where Cynthia loved. This was her home. When Jackie or Gilbert or Melvin, Robert would visit Cynthia, we never went to her home. We came here because this is where Cynthia would be. And not only would she serve 31 years here at the county library, but she also worked part-time at the College of Charleston at night. And so from 8 o'clock in the morning to about 10:30 at night, Cynthia was in the library. So there's no better place to receive this honor. There's no better place to review the mural than at the library. surrounded by family and friends and co-workers. We consider the library Cynthia's family. And you've been a great partner with us and a part of our extended family, and we thank you for that. We stand here today also to acknowledge that we want to continue the work of Cynthia. We not dwell on how she died, we're focused on how she lived. And that's why my brothers and sister, Robert, Gilbert, Melvin, Jackie, and I have established the Cynthia Graham Hurd Foundation for Literacy and Civic Engagement to continue the work of Cynthia in terms of reading and writing and researching and also participating in the discussion of community affairs. So we stand here to continue focusing on her work, continuing to focus on her legacy, focusing on how she lived and how she served versus how she died. So we thank you. We thank Cynthia, and we thank her staff. We thank this community for opening up their arms and their hearts to our family over the past year. It's been a difficult year, but Cynthia and I, and with our brothers and sisters, we always joke with one another, and part of the things that Cynthia would hate when I come to the library was I would purposely park in the no parking spot. It would just burn her up. Or I would come and reshelve the books on the shelves for her, never put it back in the right place. So needless to say, my visit was always short. But that's who Cynthia was, and this is her home, and these are her friends. And so we come today as a family saying thank you, thank you, thank you. We miss our sister. We know you miss your coworker. But somewhere, some way, we will all meet again. So we will see our sister in the morning. May God bless you all.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know about you all, but I've learned a whole lot. And if you don't visit the John L. Dot Library, I'm telling you, that's not a good thing. We need to support this library. You see what Cynthia has done and what all of the librarian staff here, the main library, everybody, what they have done so much to preserve this. And we need to continue this legacy because this is what Cynthia would have wanted. So I'm going to charge each and every one of you. Now, you know they got the Burning Man Challenge. Well, now we're going to have the John L. Dot Library Challenge. And so if you raise your hand, I'm going to be the first one. I commit to coming to this library. And I mean, I commit to coming to this library. And I've been here and read the stories. So how many of you are with me? Mine, I'll put you on Facebook. But anyway, just so you know that the library kids, it's happening here at the library, okay? You got that? Yes? Yes? All right, okay. All right. Now we are going to have closing remarks, and this is Miss Cynthia Bledsoe. She's the acting executive director for the Charleston County Public Library. Ms. Bledsoe, thank you.
Boy, being last on the program is tough. On the other hand, you know, you've already said everything that was in my heart and on my agenda to say. I do want to take a moment to thank Kim Odom. This day would not have been possible without Kim. She worked long and hard to get us here, so please take a moment to... And Catherine from Enough Pie spoke so eloquently about Cynthia, and we wouldn't be here without Enough Pie either. the library worked with Enough Pie, but Enough Pie was the one that made that connection with the artist. They helped facilitate him coming. They found some people with money to help make this happen, along with a very generous donation from Winston and Strom, LLC, who was recognizing the family of Cynthia Graham Hurd. But without Enough Pie, this mural wouldn't have been here. So thank you, Catherine. Thank you. Everybody has already said it, but this mural reflects Cynthia's love of the John L. Dart branch, of its children, of reading, of literacy, and her love of this community. Her spirit graces this building and this mural. I'm so glad that I had a chance to be here several times while the mural was being painted, because watching the side of the building be transformed was transformative. Nick had never met Cynthia. He just thought, oh, yeah, this would be a nice thing to come and do. I can do this book thing, and, I'll paint this lovely mural. And in the week that he was here, he spoke to countless members of the community. They stopped by, they watched him. As Catherine mentioned, they took the paintbrush up and became a part of that. And he learned about Cynthia. He learned about the community. He learned about the legacy of Cynthia in this community. And he was so moved. I mean, he talked to me about how so many of the commissions that he gets are commercial ones. And it's wonderful because the side of a building is, created, and now it's more vibrant for the community. But this was different. This was a different kind of commission than he had received, because it was an outgrowth of the community and something that would live forever in the community. And he said, this is what public art should be. And he was right. And the public is you. It's all of us. It's Cynthia, but it's all of us. Cynthia may have moved on to St. Andrew's Library, but Cynthia's heart and soul was always here in this community and always here at the John L. Dart Library. So the public library is just so pleased and so honored that this mural is here, that we were able to work with these people to have this created, that we can remember Cynthia in this way is just, is beyond words. There really is no way to adequately describe how proud we are, how touching we are, how honored we are that this day is here. I would encourage you to take the shelfies. We love having a collection of people standing in front of the mural with, their picture, so we can share it throughout the world. People from all over the world have contacted the library. They didn't know Cynthia, but they could capture, they got the essence of Cynthia in what they've read. And let's just also spread this wonderful picture of this lasting, in-loving memory of Cynthia Graham Hurd. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bledsoe. Just a little housekeeping. The library opens for regular business at 11 a.m. They're going to start moving the chairs. That doesn't mean that you can't continue to mingle, hug, and love on everybody. But Kim wanted me to let you know that they will have to start moving the chairs because it does open at 11. And so now I want to introduce you to another friend. As we said, everybody here has a connection to Cynthia. This is the Reverend Patricia G. Edwards. She's not only a friend, she's also sorority sister, Alpha Kappa Alpha. Yes, in the house. And she brought her daycare kids to John L. Dart Library. And she and Cynthia, of course, are friends and have that special connection. And so she is the associate minister of Nichols Chapel, African Methodist Episcopal Church. And so I want to bring her up, and she's going to close us out with a prayer. I just do want to say thank you, Kim. Thank you to everyone here at the library. Thank you, Ms. Bledsoe, Ms. Darlene. Thank you all for having me to come today. Thank you, family. Know that I am in prayer with you and for you. And everybody else, I love you. All right.
Before I do the prayer, I'd just like to share that Cynthia and I had a love of children and children learning. And that's why in my tenure as an educator, I made a part of the children's learning experience to be a part of the library. So regardless of the grade I taught, be it kindergarten or high school, the children had to come to the library. And their minds were expanded because of that. And I thank Cynthia for over 25 years of assisting me and helping our children to learn beyond the walls of Charleston, South Carolina. And now let us look to the Lord. Heavenly Father, thank you for this time of reflection and remembrance. Thank you for the hearts that have assembled here to remember Cynthia. Not only Cynthia, but all of the others that made the ultimate sacrifice. Help us to always remember them and their contribution to this world. And God, as we remember, help us to see each other as you see us, not by race, not by creed, not by color, or by gender, but just as people searching for love, unconditional love. Teach us, God, to be as you, to love others, to embrace others, to teach others, to comfort others, and to be a friend to others as you have been to us. Help us, God, to be more like you, seeking the needs of people, rendering our service, not looking to be served, but to serve. God, we thank you for Cynthia because she was a servant's servant. We thank you for the lives that she has touched. We thank you for the lessons that she has taught. And God, as I end this prayer, I ask that you look at our young people. God, plant in them the seed of understanding, the seed of love, the seed of forgiveness. Because God, if we don't learn how to forgive, how do we expect you to forgive us? God, we thank you today. And as we leave this place, please do not allow us to leave your presence. Go with us, keep us, protect us, and help us to let your light so shine through us that wherever we are, lives will be changed. In Jesus' precious name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Edwards. If I can just indulge you for 1 second. Our illustrious Mayor of Charleston is here, the Honorable John Tecklenburg. We want him to come up.
Thank you so much. And the mural is beautiful, isn't it? It really is terrific. And I'm sorry I'm running a little late. I had made a commitment a couple of months ago to address a group here that's in Charleston this week. And if I may just share with you about them and the experience I just had, I'll just take a minute. there was a room of scientists and leaders from around the world that I just left, and they work with the International Atomic Energy Commission, and their job is to keep fissile, that's materials that could be used to make a nuclear weapon, out of the hands of terrorists and someone who we might not want to be making a nuclear bomb. They're here meeting this week in Charleston. And they work closely, of course, with the Savannah River site here in South Carolina. And actually, there's a program that brings this material from around the world to South Carolina to be reprocessed so that it can be safely used in reactors rather than being used in bombs. And I share all that with you because even this morning, and it was kind of maybe not coincidental, they were meeting at the hotel almost right across from Mother Emmanuel, and I shared with them the story of what happened here a year ago, and that in this country, and they were from around the world, and I told them I was not very proud of our public policy in this country that allows assault weapons to be available to citizens who really have no right, no business having those kinds of weapons. And it's just crazy. And it's as deep a tragedy as we've experienced. Can you imagine extrapolating that bad public policy and availability to a situation where some group gets the material in order to make a nuclear weapon and then chooses to commit an act of violence and terror by detonating a nuclear weapon somewhere on this planet? I mean, it's just almost unfathomable. And but this is a crazy world, and such things could happen. And this group is here this week. That works on this effort. And so I shared with them the story in order to tell them what we know here and have learned and felt so deeply that about Charleston, that we will not be defined by an act of violence and hatred. We will be defined by love and all the great attributes that the Reverend just prayed for, and we've been praying for this weekend. And the wonderful message we had, for example, from Bernice King on Saturday was terrific. So my takeaway from that experience just minutes ago, though, is that Charleston, by sharing this message, can really be an example to the world in sharing God's love and caring for one another, as opposed to the terrible violence that we've seen. Anyway, I'd like to offer my thanks to the artists and to the County Library organization for the great loving memory of our lost one, Cynthia Graham Hurd. God bless you all. Thank you.
Well, as I said, enjoy one another and have a wonderful day.